My name is Diana Jackson. I'm coordinator for the Tribal Resource Center. The goal of the Tribal Resource Center is to accomplish a system of library and information service which will give every Creek citizen the opportunity to meet informational needs and promote the cultural heritage of the Creek Nation. The Resource Center will place special emphasis on materials that are of importance to tribal histories and culture. Currently, the Resource Center employs 2 other people besides myself: Robert Trepp, Manager and Resource and Policy Analysis for the Resource Center, and Secretary Angela Taylor.
My name is Steve Wilson, Community Organization Center, Specialist. Okay.
Go ahead.
My name is Steve Wilson, Community Organization Specialist. My staff right now consists of Janice Bear, Clerk Typist. The Community Organization Center's role is to provide technical assistance in organizing communities throughout the Creek Nation in order to help the community establish and find means of achieving its goals. Community organization, utilized properly, can serve as an important factor in helping to resolve their immediate problems. Once the community is organized in the Creek Nation, it will have a base for assisting the Creek Nation in providing information on needs for the respective communities.
Good right there. We can
We use old Malloy's. Introduce him as the manager.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Kenneth Tiger. I'm speaking for Charles Malloy, the department manager of the planning department. Currently, the Creek Nation Comprehensive Planning Department is working in the areas of physical planning, community development planning, manpower planning, and economical development. In general terms, the planning function is a process of matching needs and wants with the resources available. An inventory is taken of tribal resources, an analysis is made of those resources, a determination of the areas of greatest need follows, and finally programs are developed to fill those needs. The Department of Comprehensive Planning employs 5 people. Charles Malloy, the manager; Matt Tiger, land use planner; Kenneth Tiger, social planner, Sam Whitlow, housing and environmental planner, and Gloria Pokawatchit, secretary. The main objective of land use planning is to accomplish the highest and best uses of tribal land. To accomplish this, the planner takes an inventory of tribal land and analyzes it, then determines the highest and best use of that land. Inventory means to obtain all available information about the tribal land. The planner obtains information such as exact location, areas that have flooding problems, types of soil on the land, buildings on the land, condition of roads and highways to these lands, and the number of people living close to these lands. To analyze means to look at the tribal land using the information gathered in the inventory. This includes looking at the present uses of the land, possible alternative uses, and looking at the surrounding land uses to see if the present and alternative uses of the tribal land would meet the needs and wants of the tribe. To determine the highest and best use means to see if the land could be best used as an agricultural, industrial, or commercial site. The function of the social planner is to understand the basic needs and problems of Creek Nation tribal members based upon data gathered and communication with tribal members. The data obtained concentrates on the social characteristics of tribal members. This includes the population characteristics and the areas of traditional culture, education, health, welfare, housing, tribal government, and community development. Priorities are placed on the special needs of the disadvantaged, the elderly, children, and tribal members who are in poverty status, but the tribe maintains a policy for preserving the cultural tradition of its tribal members. We are currently concentrating on community development and community involvement. We are trying to familiarize the community leaders with the planning process and are encouraging the community members to become involved with it so that a more effective community plan can be made to meet the community's needs. We are presently assisting them in taking an inventory of their community, analyzing the data, determining the needs, setting priorities, and developing a community plan to address those needs. The manpower planner studies the economic problems which affects people's jobs, employment, education, job skills, and other work-related problems such as transportation and nutrition. He provides a link between the manpower department, who knows which people needs jobs, and the economic development department, which is trying to create those jobs. The process involves taking a census of the Creek Nation people, analyzing their job requirements, and then working with the economic development specialists to create those jobs. The economic planner develops a means to provide meaningful employment for all tribal members. In order to accomplish this type of objective, the planner must first find out where the people are and what they can do, then measure various industries in terms of number of jobs they would provide, and then place that industry in a community where the available jobs can be filled by tribal members. The main function of the housing and environmental planner is to evaluate the housing and living environment of the Indian residents living within the Creek Nation. To accomplish this, the planner establishes housing codes and regulations to ensure that construction meets requirements and the site structure is a pleasant environment in which to live or work. The duties of the housing and environmental planner include inspection of residential and commercial construction within the Creek Nation, as well as administering and rezoning regulations which have been adopted by the Tribal Council, and to provide technical assistance to various other tribal organizations. Retake it. your head. Got your head in there.
Start reading. Do I have to look at the camera before I read?
Yeah.
This is going to be hard. My name is Mike Factor, Manager of Finance and Accounting.
Put your paper down.
I can't read like that, George.
Well, you don't have to be straight. You don't have to be kind of, you know, where you sit. You don't have to look at the camera. Go ahead.
My name is Mike Factor, and Manager of the Finance and Accounting Department. The Finance and Accounting Officer serves the tribal government through the Executive Office by providing financial information on tribal operations. This information comes from the 5 basic departments within this office. These departments consist of bookkeeping, budget control, internal audit, finance and reporting, and disbursements through the Tribal Treasurer's Office. This office provides and ensures adequate control on tribal operating monies and other assets, as well as necessary financial reports to contracting agencies in the Executive Office. Currently, the Creek Tribal Government is operating on federal government funds rather than Creek Tribal funds. The Office of Finance and Accounting presently employs 7 people. Myself, the Internal Auditor Joe Skeeter, the Accounting Supervisor Tom Mitchell, Bookkeeping Supervisor Viola Mitchell, Bookkeeper Mary Taylor, Louise Haynes is Payroll Clerk, Thomasine Long is the Accounts Payable Clerk, Esther Jones is Secretary.
Hold on.
On one.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My name is Bill Fife, Administrative Assistant for the Office of Community Development and Tribal Affairs. The Office of Community Development and Tribal Affairs is divided into 3 sections or departments. These departments are Department of Tribal Affairs, Tribal Resource Center, and the Department of Comprehensive Planning and Community Development. The primary function of the Office of Community Development and Tribal Affairs lies within the overall development of the Creek Tribe. This office coordinates its efforts with other offices and tribal administration developing this overall goal. Our functions involve assisting the tribal administration, providing a resource center which is available for tribal use, and providing planning and development expertise through our planning department. The Department of Tribal Affairs consists of 5 programs. These programs are Tribal Government and Legislation, Property and Supply, Real Property and Facilities, Public Relations and Communications, and Special Projects. Presently, I am serving as manager of the Department of Tribal Affairs. The coordinator for this department is Etta Connor. The secretary is Dicey Barnett. The Tribal Government and Legislation program was provided through a contract of Tribal Government Development Program. The primary function is working with the Community Development and Tribal Affairs Committee and providing supportive services to the tribal administration. This program has assisted the Constitution Committee in the development of the proposed Constitution and preparation for ratification process. Currently, this program is in the process of developing an enrollment procedure for establishment of Creek Nation Indian Roll. This program is also developing training for tribal council members, employees, and citizens in various aspects of tribal government structures, as well as exchanging visits between other tribes of comparable size who have existing tribal government structures. This office assists all tribal committees and commissions through records of minutes of tribal meetings, maintenance of records, writing resolutions, dissemination of material, as well as keeping abreast of legislation affecting Indian tribes and review of federal regulations pertinent to programs operated by
tribal administrative staff. The staff of this program consists of Etta Connor, manager, and her secretary. Lloyd Burgess is the manager of property and supply. All phases of purchasing is channeled through the property and supply department in the form of requisitions and purchase orders. This office is currently in the process of centralizing and storing supplies for all fixed assets and running inventory on supplies. The leasing of heavy equipment and rental vehicles is processed through this office also. This office is responsible for service and maintenance of all tribal vehicles as well as keeping mileage records. Other functions of this department include the acquisition of excess government property and sale of new and used lumber. Staff of the property and supply program consists of Lawrence Watashi, inventory technician, and Bernadette Anderson, secretary. Bill Fife is currently the manager of real property and facilities. Currently, there are 2 programs under this department. These programs are Tribal Land Utilization and Facility Management Program. The goal of the Tribal Land Utilization Program is to increase and improve the utilization of tribal land for agricultural purposes. The objective of this program is to engage in food production on tribal and leased lands. This in turn would provide job opportunities for tribal members who are unemployed or underemployed. The long-range plan would include food production for the tribe with beef, pork, and vegetable programs. The land utilization program employs 5 people. These people are Carl Ader, manager, Mel Autry, George Bruner, Wally Butler, and Andrew Butler. The facilities management program provides maintenance and janitorial services to tribal property and facilities. The program employs 7 people. Harvey Buckley and Ben Harjo work as the maintenance crew, while Bill Harjo, Herman Grimes, and Archie Hodogi provide custodial services. Gary Hawkins is a caretaker at the old Eufaula dorm, and Frank Belcher is a maintenance man for the Eufaula Clinic. George Tiger is a manager of public relations and communications. The purpose of the Public Relations and Communications program is to provide vital information from the administration to the tribal members. The objective of this department is to eliminate the lack of communication that exists in the Creek Nation. Programs have been implemented to begin structuring a solid communication program in the Creek Nation. The staff of the Public Relations and Communications program consists of George Tiger, manager, Kay Bear, secretary. Gene Timothy is the manager for the Bicentennial Project. Creek Nation Bicentennial Project is under the Special Projects Department of the Creek Nation. The principal objective of the Bicentennial Program is to preserve and protect Creek culture and history. Some of the secondary objectives are to create a historical map of the Creek Nation and a development of a comprehensive plan to retain the oral history of the Creek Nation. This program will also provide for making specified historical sites with signs and markers, as well as providing direction and mileage signs for roads of access to Indian communities. The Creek Nation Bicentennial Project employs 5 people: Gene Timothy, manager of the project; Margaret Freeman, coordinator; Brian Fife, draftsman; Dean Tiger, artist; and Esther Jones, secretary.
Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Afternoon testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.